How Shaolin monks manage their sex drives and have incredible abilities. When it comes to real-life superhumans, undoubtedly Shaolin monks top the list. It's because of their years of training things that normal people can never think of. For example, banging their heads on the big rocks, knife scraping their stomach, drilling their head, punching through the trees with their fingers, etc., etc. These are some of their mind-blowing abilities. A lot more will be coming down the line. But most importantly, how do they manage their lustful desires? Welcome, and today we'll be talking about how Shaolin monks manage their sex drives and have incredible abilities. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. They can survive extreme weather. When normal humans cannot survive the extreme cold weather without proper resources, Shaolin monks can do that with very ease, even when they're naked. It's because they can control their temperature with their mind. Yeah, that's right. During some time, a monk was tested, if that is true or not. They wrapped a cold and wet sheet around his naked and ice-cold body. After some time, they found that his temperature increased with the passing time. It's worth noting that only some of the monks possess this ability. They call it forceful breath and gentle breath. It's indeed a really hard feature to learn. This type of meditation is only taught in the Chinese province of Qinghai. Throwing needles through glass. This is another insane ability of them. They can very easily puncture the glass with a needle and even burst balloons on the other side. For us, it seems impossible, and to be honest, how many of you can do this? This is the training that requires beautiful control of mind and body. The key trick behind it is that you'll have to throw it at a 90-degree angle as possible with a high velocity. However, this can't be done on every glass, as some glasses are built for resistance against damage. They can puncture a 1/8 inch glass easily. The most incredible thing is that they do it only by creating a small hole in the glass, not completely shattering it. Inverse handstanding with just the index fingers. This is true. Remember the scene from The Amazing Spider-Man where Peter was testing his abilities and he did an incredible handstand? The Shaolin monks can do better than this. They can handstand with just their index fingers. This is insane. But the astonishing question is, how do they do it? How can they achieve such incredible and superhuman strength? The answer is the finger punch to the trees. This has been common with the Shaolin monks for a decade now. They'll spend years training and hardening their fingers like rocks. At first, they'll start low on each finger, and with the passing time, then they'll move out to the undenting holes in the trees. The funny thing is that you'll find all the trees near their monasteries to be filled with 2-inch deep indents. The drills can't penetrate their heads. Before we continue, just don't try this at home or you'll end up in a bad way. The Shaolin monks can hold up a running drill machine at their skull for approximately 10 seconds. The astounding fact is that they won't even bleed a single drop. You'll just see a red forced area where the driller has been. And again, just don't try this at home. They achieve such hard as rock's head by years of training. At first, they'll start practicing by banging their heads on the sandbags, then they progress gradually to wooden logs and finally to the rocks and iron weights. When they reach the maximum capacity, they'll start bumping their heads with each other. After that, they'll be able to drill the hole. They're insane. They drag iron holds behind the testicles. Sorry to say this, but it may come to you as a scene from Johnny English 2, but it's true. They do all the testicle training shown in this movie. Behind the scene of reality, they implement their iron body training techniques in the areas that are soft and very sensitive to damage. They do it to make it resistant against the knees and the kicks at their private part. By practicing, they are finally able to stimulate the tissue blood flow at the concerned area. Now, this training also improves its flexibility and resistance. At last, the private parts are hard as a rock. Next up comes their ability to stand in squat position. This ability is known as monk pillar skill. In this training, they can stand in the squat position on 2 legs. They can do it for around 2 hours. When this wasn't intensified enough, they'll hold 2 bowls in each of their hands while the bowls were filled with water. When this wasn't enough, they'll even fill a 3rd bowl on their head also filled with water. This position is to be kept for 2 hours while the monk is to stay still. If he moved even a little bit, the bowls will fall. Lifting an entire table. These living legends can lift an entire table filled with things on it. Did I mention they lift it with their teeth without touching it with their hands for assistance? Their iron body training is one of the hardest pieces of training of the Shaolin monks' lives. Most of them will spend their whole lives trying to achieve the desired result. During this training, they also train their mouth and teeth. When people like us find it difficult to lift with their hands, the Shaolin monks will do it just by their teeth and mouth. They'll even carry the table around. The ability to withstand multiple spears. Just like the head drilling, it may also seem impossible to you, but it is true. You'll find the internet to be filled with these kinds of videos where a Shaolin monk will be held on the top of multiple spears held at him. The spears were held to his chest, his abdomen, and his lap. They can even bend the spears with their neck. Again, it's all because of their years of training in iron body techniques. Sure, they can do things, pretty devastating things, the things that are thought to be physically impossible. But the big question remains: how monks handle their sex drives. As the lustful desire is the everyday human life, they can't survive without it. Most of the monks are enrolled in their monasteries at the age of 3. They're then taught the impracticable. For managing their lustful desires, they'll lower the intake of protein, as the organs filled with protein give birth to lustful desires. They control their sex drives in the following way. The first is that they won't fill their stomach with food. A full stomach simply implies pressure on the organs that gives birth to lustful desires. Secondly, and most importantly, they just won't think about it. I know it may come weird to you, but they put it simply. Thinking and touching give birth to feelings, and elusive feelings will result in lustful thoughts. In simple words, they won't think of humans to be beautiful. Instead, they'll think about the adverse side, like how pathologically it can smell or how dirty it is. They counterbalance between the lustful thoughts and the reality in their sordid way. The lustful desire is the body's strongest feeling ever. If someone could control it and transfer its energy to some other form, one can achieve great things in their life. This is what the monks do. They spend years of training in the mountains without having desires for the opposite sex. This is indeed a really hard thing to do. That's why they teach them from an early age and take years to master. I'm so sorry to say that you've reached the end of our video. If you liked our video, then kindly press the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more sporty videos. Lastly, don't forget to drop your thoughts about the unbelievable abilities they muster and master, while also don't forget to highlight your favorite one. See you at the next one.